Let's jump right into today's explainer, where we're exploring the absolute power of words and exactly how we choose to wield them. We're looking at a deeply moving tribute written by Oluyomi Oladevid. It's a piece that doesn't just casually observe, it actively elevates. We're going to break down exactly how she uses poetry to uplift the men in her life, analyzing the structure, the imagery, and just the incredible emotional resonance of her work. So if you've ever wondered how a simple shift in perspective can completely rewrite a narrative, you are definitely in the right place. To really get the impact of her work, we've got to look at the context first. On November 19, 2021, right in time to coincide with International Men's Day, she published this beautifully crafted piece on her blog. And listen, it wasn't just some quick social media post. It was a highly deliberate, artistic ode designed to celebrate men across the globe. That timing is absolutely crucial because it frames her entire poem as a purposeful gift. It's like she took a moment out of this chaotic, busy world to just intentionally acknowledge and validate the men around her. But before we actually get into her poetry, let's establish who she is. Oluyomi Oladevid is a Nigerian writer, a woman who's deeply invested in global development and transformation. But honestly, I think the most telling thing about her is how she introduces herself. She proudly and very simply states that she loves people. Her entire worldview is rooted in connection, in seeing the core humanity in others, and that's the exact lens through which she wrote this piece. In her profile, she actually notes, "I enjoy generating solutions, influencing policy and strategy, and providing clarity." It's such a fascinating glimpse into her mind. That sheer desire to provide clarity and generate solutions, it absolutely shines through in her artistic endeavors. She isn't just stringing together nice-sounding words. She consciously chooses to focus on positive narratives as a legitimate solution in itself. She cuts right through the noise of modern discourse to just shine an undeniable spotlight on the good. Okay, let's move right along to exploring the poem's themes. Right out of the gate, she establishes this incredible rhythm of reverence in her poem Musings, There Are Men. Listen to these lines. "We see their signs, and we know their heart. They shine like stars. I call them men." By adopting this rhythmic, almost spoken word style, you can literally feel how she sets an uplifting tone from the very first stanza. She immediately connects the external, what we see, with the internal, their heart. She's telling us right away, look past the surface. She brilliantly weaves these sensory details and nature imagery together throughout the whole piece. We sniff their presence, and we know their substance. It's just incredibly grounding. And then she elevates it all by saying, "They lead like eagles." By comparing their majestic leadership qualities to soaring eagles, she anchors those masculine traits right in the natural world. It suggests that their leadership and their presence are as vital and frankly as natural as the environment around us. Which brings us to our next section, strength and vulnerability. For me, the absolute emotional core of her writing is how masterfully she balances this duality. She's not just painting this flat, one-dimensional picture of stoicism here. On one hand, she says, "We hear their roar," but on the exact same token, "and we know their whisper." She acknowledges that fierce, protective roar, absolutely, but she equally values their gentle, intimate whisper. By putting these two extremes right side by side, she totally validates the full spectrum of the male experience. It's like she's saying, "Hey, I see your power, but I also see your gentleness, and both of those things make you who you are." And this builds into an even deeper psychological observation. She writes, "We like their guts, and we know their fears." Now that is profound. She completely validates their immense courage, their guts, yet she tenderly recognizes that they still carry internal fears. Later in that exact same stanza, she notes that they trust like children. It totally strips away that heavy expectation that men just have to be invincible all the time, right? She's offering them the grace to just be human, to be afraid, and to be trusting. She wraps up this thematic duality by acknowledging their blend of pride and meekness. It is a pretty rare tribute that praises a man's pride alongside his humility. She beautifully notes in the surrounding lines that they actually have a profound capacity to nurture like nature and love like rain. It completely flips traditional strength on its head, framing nurturing and love not as secondary, softer traits, but as core components of their masculine identity. So, how did people respond to this? Let's take a look at the impact and audience reactions. Because obviously, a poem like this doesn't just exist in a vacuum. When she published this, readers literally flooded her blog. And let's be real for a second, internet comment sections can be a total nightmare. But hers, it became this incredible space of genuine warmth. Readers like Jide O, who affectionately called her Dr. Mrs., praised her as a literal genius. Others just chimed in with "thanks, sis," or "so great to see a woman write this about men." You can genuinely sense the relief and the joy in these comments. They were so moved that she used her platform to champion them unconditionally. I really want to highlight this specific comment from Victor Oladipo Momodou. He wrote, "Thanks for looking beyond the negatives and focusing on our strengths." Victor hit the nail right on the head here. He perfectly captures the emotional hook of her work. In a world that so often leans negative or just gets totally bogged down in critiques, she actively chose to highlight the good. Her poem provided clarity, just like she promised in her professional bio, by shining a massive spotlight entirely on their strengths. And then she signs off her ode with this incredibly inclusive, warm blessing. "Happy International Men's Day to every man on the planet and all those who truly love them." What a beautiful bow to put on top of this tribute. Because she doesn't just celebrate the men, right? She celebrates the entire community around them. All the people who see their roars, their whispers, their guts and their fears, and who consciously choose to love them through the whole shebang. As we wrap up this explainer, we're really left with such a powerful lesson on the sheer impact of our words. Oluyomi Oladevid showed us that celebrating someone's strength absolutely doesn't mean ignoring their vulnerability. True celebration embraces both. So, take a page from her book. I want you to ask yourself, how can you use your words to uplift the people in your life today? How can you consciously choose to focus on the strengths of the people around you and make sure they know they're seen? Think about it. Maybe even write a little tribute of your own.